How many points does it take to lose your license? An indefinite or permanent suspension of a driver's license is possible. The length of the suspension is determined by how serious the offenses were that caused it. In a perfect world, definite suspensions have end dates, whereas indefinite suspensions don't. Any driver who disobeys traffic laws will have points added to their license. The number of points awarded varies according to how serious the offense was that was committed. State laws may vary, but in general, drivers who accumulate 11 or more points in a period of 18 months will temporarily lose their driving rights. How many traffic points does it really take to lose your license? In order to identify and deter both in-state and out-of-state drivers from participating in risky behavior that puts both their own lives and the lives of other road users in peril, the DMV uses point allocation. Negative points that eventually result in license suspension are added to the driving records of reckless drivers, which makes them less likely to act recklessly when driving. You run the risk of temporarily losing your driving rights if you rack up a total of 11 points in less than 18 months. How does the point system work? Most states utilize a point system or some other method to penalize motorists who violate the law or abuse their right to operate a vehicle. By allocating driver's license points to the records of infractions of traffic laws, the point system encourages risky driving practices. After the 11-point limit has been surpassed within an 18-month period, accumulating negative points on your license will ultimately result in the suspension of your ability to drive. Every time a driver is found guilty of a traffic law violation, such as reckless driving, exceeding the posted speed limit, committing a crime involving a motor vehicle, or engaging in other bad habits, that driver accrues the precise number of points associated with that violation, which is then added to their overall point total. For instance, violating traffic laws or using a cell phone while driving will result in 4 points being added to your license. In contrast, citations for speeding and unsafe lane changes will result in 3 points being deducted from one's driving record. 6 points will often be assessed to drivers who break traffic laws and result in fatal car accidents and property damage. Despite the fact that these are typically fairly minor driving offenses, some traffic infractions result in no points being assessed to the offender's license. On the other hand, a temporary license suspension may be imposed for a few traffic infractions. On the other hand, some offenses, such DUIs, DWIs, and refusals to submit to chemical testing, might be grounds for an extended suspension because of the high risk factor they carry. Your driving record and why it matters. The DMV or a similar state organization maintains the records of every motorist in the United States. The driving records of every driver in the nation do not all of a sudden vanish. Contrarily, regardless matter how serious the offense was, all traffic convictions remain on file. Each driver's record often includes personal data as well as additional information, including fines, tickets, accumulated points, and even completed courses. By visiting any DMV branch, drivers can find out their entire point total and the date of each violation. Now, it's important to attempt to avoid accumulating a large number of points quickly or all at once, as this could result in a license suspension. Most frequent grounds for license suspension or revocation. A license suspension is a consequence of committing serious traffic offenses, such as driving while intoxicated or racking up points on your license. Any DUI conviction or refusal to stop for a school bus may result in an automatic license suspension. However, failure to comply with other minor traffic laws can only result in a suspension after exceeding the 11-point threshold. How long does a license suspension stay on your record? A driver's license might have negative points for up to 2 years. After receiving 11 points, your driver's license will be suspended if no steps are taken to have the authorities in charge of the points system take them off. While there are procedures for obtaining a license once it has been suspended, the conviction lasts forever. How having a license suspension on your record can affect other aspects of your life. A minor traffic infraction could not have the same long-lasting consequences as a significant one, especially if it is regularly committed. A license suspension brought on by too many points on your license or collected traffic citations can be detrimental to practically every other part of your life. These are a few ways it might. 1. Your credit score. One's credit score may deteriorate if they are unable to pay court fees or traffic ticket fines. Involvement of a collection agency may have worse effects than anticipated. A strong credit score is essential because it's a major consideration when renting an apartment or buying a car. 2. Your right to vote. Your ability to participate in the electoral process may be suspended if you commit traffic offenses like a DUI or an on-road felony. In addition to losing their ability to vote, felons who have been convicted of a crime are also prohibited from serving on juries, running for public office, and working as firefighters. 3. Cost of insurance premiums. As soon as your traffic infraction appears on your driving record, the amount you typically pay for insurance will jump. Due to the fact that insurance companies have access to the driving records of its policyholders, your insurance rate will be one of the first things to be impacted. This means that there is a very good probability that they will be aware of the date and reason your license was suspended, which could result in higher premium rates and necessitate your participation in a program to lower your insurance. 4. Employment opportunities. A major motor vehicle crime that results in an arrest by a police officer is sufficient cause for dismissal from your job. Those who drive for a living, such as commercial drivers, have a higher risk of this happening. The fact that insurance companies sometimes raise the fees for using company-owned vehicles when specific traffic violations have been committed is a significant element that raises the risk of being dismissed. Finding work can be extremely difficult if one has a DUI on their driving record because most businesses view it as a red flag. Final thoughts. When drivers become aware that they are likely to exceed the point threshold, there are numerous ways they can prevent having their driving privileges suspended. They include asking for the deletion of points, registering for a defensive driving course, and improving one's driving.